Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have the pleasure of having Dr. Renuka Vijaykumar with us. Ma'am is scientist, biochemistry and nutrition division, ICAR, CIFT coaching. And the topic chosen by our esteemed guest for deliberation today is types of processing and its effects on nutritional quality of seafood. Ma'am, you are audible as well as visible, and the presentation is also visible. The session recording has started. Please start, ma'am.
Thank you for the organizers for giving me the opportunity. I think I am audible.
Yep, you're audible, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for the organizers to give me the opportunity to be in the part of the 21 days training program. Today, the next 1 hour, what we are going to discuss it on types of processing and its effect on nutritional quality of seafood. So in this presentation, I would like to say what is the nutritional composition of the fish, how it is important, and how these nutritional properties are getting changed over during the processing methods. So the first thing is when we studied, our teachers taught us that fish is considered as a poor man food. But today, if you go to the some of Indian fish market and after asking the price, we are surprised to know that we will think that fish is nowhere considered as a poor man food. But still, most of the developing countries and even some of the parts of in our India and underdeveloped country, fish is considered as a primary source of protein. As per FAO 2020, the fish is accounted about 70% of total animal protein and 7% of all animal protein, including the vegetable proteins consumed globally. So if you see the nutritional composition of fish, if you search the Google fish nutrient, you will get the answer something like fish is among the healthiest food on the planet. But today's world, whatever as on today's world, whatever Google says, almost we have to believe it. So why fish is considered as the most healthiest food among the on the plant? Because it is also contain similar like other animal meat, protein, fat, vitamins and mineral. But still people are saying that fish is the most healthier food. Why? Because if you see the nutritional composition of fish, the moisture content was around 60 to 80 percentage and crude protein was around 80 to 20 percentage. The crude fat was almost 0.5 to 9%. It is a general term I'm saying. The mineral content was 0.5 to 1.5 percentage. If you see here, I have given it for the low value or high value fishes, the nutritive value. Then the low value and the high value I am saying in the based on the prices, not for the protein quality or something else. And if you see the approximate nutritive value of fishes and shellfishes and all those things, similar all the fishes and shellfishes having the variation of protein contents of from 12 percentage to 20 percentage, 0.2 to 1.9 percentage of crude fat. Almost ash is also like similarly 0.5 to 2.1. So and if you see the proximate composition of other animals like beef and poultry, the moisture content was almost similar like 70-75 percentage. The crude protein was almost that. Here it is beef, it is 16 percentage, poultry it is 17 percentage, fat was around 7.93 percentage, poultry it was around 5.1. So if you overall if you see there is not much variations in the composition of fishes compared with the beef and poultry. Then why everyone say that fish is very much nutritional and all? We will see it now. If you see the fish muscle based on the solubility, fish's muscles are classified into three. One is sarcoplasmic protein, stroma protein, another one is the myofibrillar protein. Sarcoplasmic protein is nothing but the water soluble protein. It is a low ion, it is dissolved in the low ionic solution. The sarcoplasmic protein is present in the fishes for almost 25 to 30%. Most of the enzymes, all the fish enzymes are comes under the sarcoplasmic protein. These mammalians are having 35 to 40% of this sarcoplasmic protein. Pelagic fishes are having high content of sarcoplasmic protein, and demersal fishes are having the lower content of sarcoplasmic protein. The next protein is the stroma protein. Stroma protein is nothing but the connective tissue protein. When we studied the nutraceuticals products and all, most of the we would have studied about the collagen, peptide, gelatin, all those things are comes under the stroma protein. It is insoluble protein. It is accounted for 3% of total protein, and in case of elosmobrans, it is 10%. When we also heard about fishes are easily digestible protein. The easily digestible words because of the less content of the stroma protein. And another one protein is the myofibrillar protein. Myofibrillar protein having dissolved in the high ionic solution. Those participants who are in the processing field, they are very well know any functional properties or any rheological properties of the fish protein. If you are planning to prepare any functional foods or any other kind of products, the main we have to consider about the myofibrillar protein, because this myofibrillar protein decide the functional as well as the rheological properties of the protein. In fishes, this myofibrillar protein was present almost 65% of total protein, and in the case of mammalian, it is 40%. So when we say the protein, there are some quality parameters are there to measure, because like the studies says that in vivo digestibility of proteins of raw fin fishes is around 90 to 98%. As in case of cell fishes, it is 85%. The biological value of fish protein was around 76%. If you see the biological value of these, it was 74%, milk 90%, egg 94%, corn 60%, white flour 41%. Another one is the protein efficiency ratio. Protein efficiency ratio is nothing but the weight gain per unit of protein that we have taken. So it is high. These fish proteins are slightly higher than that of milk protein. The another one parameter is the net protein utilization. Net protein utilization, it means that how much of amino acid used to synthesize the protein in our human body to the amount of amino acid consumed. So the net protein utilization of fish protein was around 83 when compared to 80 of red meat and 100 of egg. And we all know the fish is having the very less quantity of carbohydrates, that is less than 1%. Apart from that, the fish protein is also having fish protein. Sorry. Apart from that, the fish protein also have some water soluble vitamin, fat soluble vitamins like A, D, E, K. So when we say the main important nutrition, when we say the nutritional composition, the main important thing, one is the fish protein, another one is the fish lipids. When we say the fish lipids, lipids is an ill-defined word because it includes many different types of compounds. For example, fish is a biomolecules. It's we all know that is not insoluble in the water. It will soluble in the polar compounds. When we say the fat, it is a triacyl glycerols. The difference between fat and oil is fat and oil both are having the same chemical composition, that is triacylglycerol, but fat is solid in the room temperature, oil is liquid in the room temperature. So based on the biological function, fish lipids has been classified into three. One is the structural lipid, another one is storage lipid, and another one is the metabolic lipid. Structural lipid, we all know that cell wall is made up of phospholipids. Another one is the storage lipid that will deposit our fats, that is triglycerides. Another one is the metabolic lipids, that is most of the fat soluble vitamins like A, D, E, K. All these vitamins are attached with the metabolic lipids and will do the metabolic functions. Based on the percentage of fat present in the fish, it can be the fishes can be divided into lean fishes, semi-fatty fishes, and fatty fishes. Fishes having the less than 0.5% of fat is called the lean fishes. Having the 0.5 to 2% of fat is called semi-fatty fishes. More than 2% of fat is called the fatty fishes. So we are among that. Apart from that, we also know fish is good source of omega-3 fatty acid. This we have heard it from the When we started studying, we would have heard about the fish is good source of omega-3 fatty acid. Omega-3 fatty acid in the sense is not only like EPA and DHA, it is also like alpha-linoleic. It also have the good quantity of alpha-linoleic acid. Apart from this omega-3 fatty acid, fish lipids also have the good quantity of saturated fatty acid, that is palmitic acid. So this, if you see this figure here, this is a gram per serving of EPA and DHA. Irrespective of fishes, whether it is sardine, mackerel, salmon, or sea bass, shrimp, lobster, tuna, tilapia, cod, tuna, anything, any fishes, if you see, you can find that there is some quantity of EPA and DHA, but it is not in the case of all other things. For example, flaxseed oil, chia seed oil, whatever it may be, there is some difference. But irrespective of any fishes, you can find there is a presence of EPA and DHA. So what there is a daily recommendation, recommended amount to taken. At least we have to have 2 to 3 fish meals a week, or around 200 to 300 gram of fish per week, or 200 to 400 milligram of EPA and DHA per day. But it is not advisable to take more than 400 milligram of EPA and DHA per day. And so in general, if you say, if we can say that if anybody takes fish, whether it is freshwater fish, marine fish, or whatever it may be, if you take fish, we can say fish helps to maintain the healthy heart by lowering the blood pressure and reducing the risk of sudden death, heart attack, and abnormal heart rhythms and strokes. And we also say that it helps to healthy brain function, infant development of vision and nerves during the pregnancy, and it decrease the risk of depression, Alzheimer's disease, dementia, and diabetics. It also helps to prevent the inflammation and reduce the risk of arthritis. All these health benefits are based on the scientific studies that what the fishes they have used. But for our Indian condition, we don't have the habit of having the fishes of raw. For example, if you take shashi only, that fishes people are in the world, they are taking it as a raw fish. So all these nutritional quality, whatever we have mentioned, all these health benefits, it's all depend upon the biomolecules that you have taken. Or it is your protein hydrolysis, whatever it may be. But once if you are started doing the processing techniques, there is a chances in the nutritional quality. For example, the main objective of any processing techniques is like the shelf life extension. The first and foremost objective in the processor point of view is the shelf life extension, and retain the quality of the fish. And to maintain the nutritional value, and reduction of waste and consumer satisfaction, high market value, maintain the sensory attribute. So these are the main objectives in the processing technique. To meet the objectives, we are using different preservation techniques. Like we are using some different time temperature process to preserve the fish. Thereby, we are retarding or reducing we are deactivating our enzymes, or reducing the water activity or moisture content, and reducing the microbial load. So the approaches for preserving the fish to having these objectives, we are having some approaches like low temperature processing we are doing. Like for example of low temperature processing is like freezing and chilling. The high temperature processing is like a retard pouch processing and canning, or we are using some chemicals or a drying or freeze drying method, salting, and we are using radiation, and we are trying to use some advanced packaging materials also to preserve the fish, like modified atmospheric packaging and vacuum packaging. So we can say the preservation may be of thermal or non-thermal. So if you say the thermal processing in the sense it may be of aseptic processing, baking, frying, humidification, microwave, radio frequency, cooking, drying, extrusion, and infrared processing. So among these methods, the most commonly used in our Indian condition is the thermal processing, like retard pouch or canning, baking, frying, drying, extrusion, and microwave processing. This baking, frying, drying, extrusion, and microwave processing, these are all we are commonly used in our home. But means for our small entrepreneur or whatever it may be, this retard pouch processing and canning is also we are using. If you see in most of the metropolitan cities in supermarket, now we can find the good quantity, good quantum of fish processed retard pouch and canned product, because compared to last decades, there is a there is an increase in the consumer awareness for the retard pouch and canned products. And in the case of a non-thermal processing, there are different types of non-thermal processing. Is there chilling, freezing, freeze drying, high pressure processing, pulsed electric field, pulsed light, ultrasound, ozone, cold plasma, irradiation. So among these non-thermal processing, the most common method what we are using is the chilling, freezing, and freeze drying. So whether it is thermal or non-thermal processing, so we always require as a consumer, we always require a premium appearance, flavor, great nutritional value, good sensory value, attractive, prolonging of the shelf life product. But when we are doing all this processing method, whether it is thermal or non-thermal, it have a different application and techniques that influences the nutritional, that affects the physical, chemical, and nutritional composition of the processed food. So if you take the effect of cooking on the nutritional composition of the fish, cooking is the most common method that we are using. So in the cooking, what we are doing, we are using the heating method to prepare the food. The heating may be of your boiling, baking, roasting, frying, and grilling method. So here the heat is important to we are using to enhance the taste, flavor, and prolonging the shelf life of the product. So in the cooking method, the main important thing is the time temperature. So the time temperature affects the nutritional quality of the fish. How this time temperature affects the nutritional quality of fish? If you are increasing the time and temperature, there is a chance of protein denaturation, and that can affect the protein quality. So the time temperature increases the denaturation of protein, and thereby some of the heat level, vitamins and water soluble vitamins, all these the loss of vitamins, minerals, and essential amino acids. Essential amino acids. And the next one is the effect of cooking on the nutritional composition of the fish. Similarly, if you're cooking the fish via like other some recent method like grilling, microwave, steaming, and frying, it is reducing the moisture content, thereby it is increasing the protein content. In 2003, the study showed that the fishes, that is sardine fillet, they have processed like fried, oven baked, and grilled. Here what they found is the protein content was high in a grilled fish, followed by the oven baked and fried and fresh fish. Similarly, the fat content was reduced in the steaming, grilling, and microwave processing. But another one thing what they found, we all know that fat content was increased in the frying product, because when we are doing the frying, there is an exchange of oil, and thereby this frying can, thereby that fatty acid profile of the fish can get changed, and there is a loss of lipids also, means lipid oxidation is chances. So if you see the fat content of the cooking of different fishes, the fried fishes having the high fat content, followed by grilled and fresh fish and oven baked. And this is the nutritional composition of the traditional fish, Indian style fish curry. You will get the 400 gram of calories in that. 49 gram will be of your carbohydrate, 30 gram your protein, and 9.5 gram is of your fat. And the next one is the effect of freezing on the nutritional composition of fish. We all know the fish is the one of the most employed method used for the preserving the fresh fish and other seafood product for the export purpose, because in Indian condition almost 67% of the fishes or shellfishes are exported in the frozen form to the other countries. So freezing, we all know there are two different types of freezing, slow freezing and quick freezing. If you are doing the slow freezing and if you are storing your product for a long period and if you use the low quality of the fish, there is a chance of your deterioration in the texture, flavor and color of the fish. How it is happened when you are doing the slow freezing, there they say that there is a nucleation formation during the slow freezing. So if the during the slow freezing, the nucleation process is getting slow, thereby it forms a large ice crystal and that affect the cell wall of the muscle and lead to the denaturation of the structural dimension of the membrane, resulted in the increased drip loss, loss of water holding capacity and textural change. As I said earlier, the myofibrillar protein is important for all the functional and rheological property. During the slow freezing, these water soluble proteins are getting rid of, and another one is this myofibrillar protein loss is functional property. Thereby, that's why it is having the loss of water holding capacities and textural changes. So this protein denaturation not only affect the protein quality, it also indirectly it affects the fat oxidation. Also means it increases the lipid hydrolysis and thereby it leads to the lipid oxidation in the product. So in 2018, the studies from the Faruzani says that if the fishes, the Lujanus fishes whole, they have stored it in the cold temperature at minus 18 degrees Celsius. What they found is if up to 180 days, means not up to 180 days, the fishes stored at 180 days, there is a reduction in the crude protein and fat content. Means there is a reduction in the protein content also, there is a reduction in the fat content also during the storage period. And 2009, the another studies in a tilapia fish fillet at minus 18 degrees Celsius for the 3 months also shows that when you are increasing the storage time, there is a reduction in the moisture, ash, and the protein content. And in another study in 2019, the research they have carried out the fish sticks, carried out in the sticks means they have prepared some value-added product like fried sticks and grilled sticks. They have compared it with the raw sticks. Whether it is raw, fried or grilled, during the storage time of up to the 6 months, there is a reduction in the protein content and similar as well as the fat content of the products. So how to maintain and how to reduce the nutritional loss in the freezing is we have to reduce the drip loss of the product, or we have to maintain the cold storage temperature fluctuations, or we have to go for a quick freezing. Generally in slow freezing we are using the blast freezer or plate freezer. We have to go for a quick freezing, that is IQF we have to go for, or we have to go for a good packaging material to reduce the exposure of the product for the temperature fluctuation. And the another one is the effect of thermal processing on the nutritional composition of fish. So when you say, as I already said, when you say the thermal processing, canning is one of the most important preservation method in the world, not for an India. But we are picking in the line. Because the canning have the advantage, we can store it at the room temperature. It is a ready to eat product. Canning is supporting an important role in the human nutrition because wherever we are not getting the fishes or wherever there is a lack of a fish availability, canned products is serving the purpose. But FAO, what they are saying, FAO says that lean fishes are not recommended for the canning process because their fleshes, because if there is thermal processing, the fleshes are disintegrate under the high temperature and that affect the delicacy of the flavor and texture of the product. So FAO suggested that we can go for the medium-sized fishes, medium fat fishes are recommended for during to do the thermal processing of the fishes. So we all know the fish, as we discussed, the fish is having a different nutritional composition. So having the different nutritional composition, each compound have the different stability towards the thermal processing. So in the thermal processing, what we are doing, we are packing the products in that can and we are doing the processing. So there is a chance of essential nutrients in the fish and thereby there is a loss of nutritional sensory value of the bread. It is not only affecting the nutritional value and sensory properties of the product, it is sometimes it is producing the undesirable compound due to the high temperature process. So for example, there is a chance of production of mild reacted products. And if you see in this figure, if you see, there is a changes in the protein from dissociation to disintegration due to heating at different temperature. What we say is the fish proteins are getting started denature from 40 degrees 40 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius to 70 degrees Celsius. The protein denaturations are of 3 stages. For example, up to 55 degrees Celsius, the protein coagulations are dominant. But after 55 to 70 degrees Celsius, there is a uncoiling of polypeptide chain. The polypeptide chains are getting uncoiled during the temperature of 55 to 70 degrees Celsius. If it is go beyond the 70 degrees Celsius, there is a formation of SH groups. Means it will produce the hydrogen sulfide. And if it is go beyond 120 degrees Celsius, there is a protein chain fragmentations are happening. So if the proteins are getting denatured, the main property like viscosity, hydration, chelations, all are getting affected during the high temperature. So as I said earlier, as I said previously, the predominant reaction in the thermal processing is the Maillard reaction. That is a chemical reaction between the amino acid and the reducing sugar. So that will give the brown color appearance in the products. So the Maillard reaction, what happens? It affects the nutritional property of the thermal processed food. For example, it decreases the bioavailability of the lysine. And as well as the other essential amino acid. There is a loss of other essential amino acid, but lysine is very much important in the nutritional composition because lysine appears to help in the body to absorb that calcium, and it also help for the collagen, help to absorb the production of collagen in our body. So during the thermal processing, there is a decrease in the bioavailability of lysine, and it decreases the protein digestibility because this sarcoplasmic protein like the collagen, as I said earlier, these are all high sensitive to heat. So this collagen are get disintegrated into the gelatin, means thereby it is affecting the protein digestibility. And what research says that if you are doing the thermal processing, means in oil, canned products in oil, there is a chances of more nutritional losses. So other heat sensitive vitamin like vitamin C, thiamine, riboflavin, niacins are all getting affected during the thermal processing, and that nutrients are lost during the processing because of the sterilization process. We are using 121 degrees Celsius for the 15 minutes. But one advantages of in the thermal processing, what they found is the bones have become soft during the processing. So, and that is then that bone, because of the softness, that bones have become edible along with the flesh. So it providing as an important calcium source. Another one is the effect of drying method on the nutritional composition of a fish. We all know that, I don't want to say natural of drying, it's all depend upon the sun weather condition and climate condition. So in a natural condition, the fishes are dried fast. So sometimes what happens when the fishes are getting dried fast, the flesh become hard, even though some outer surface are getting moisture contents are getting dried, but inside the fish there is some chances of presence of moisture content. So that affect the nutritional quality of the fish. Means some moistures are still inside, which slow down the drying process and promote the denaturation, and thereby it affect the lipid quality also. So what people are saying, we have to go for instead of natural drying, we have to go for a solar drying. Solar drying, there are different types of solar drying also. CIFT is working on solar drying, but still what they found is some solar drying, means during even the solar drying also there is loss in the PUFA content of the fishes. So research, what they are suggesting is, if you are going for any drying method, whether it is natural drying or solar drying or whatever it may be, before going for a drying, you go for a brining. Brining also, they are saying that is, it's all depend upon the time, how much you are going to do it. It's not that we have to keep in brining solution for 3-4 days or something. So when you're going for a drying, before drying, you go for brine treatment before drying. So thereby you can reduce the moisture content. So once if you are reducing the moisture content, in a drying, our main objective is to reduce the moisture content. So during brining, if you can reduce the quantum of means if you can reduce the moisture content, so, and that play a significant role in the reducing the drying rate and preserving the fish nutrients. So what researchers say is that drying would be appropriate if you dry the fish products at 60 degrees Celsius for 15 hours and 70 degrees Celsius for 10 hours. Then you may ask, it is not applicable for the all fishes. Yes, it is not applicable for the all fishes. It's all depend upon your type of fishes, how you are going to exposure your fish, and means whether how much you are going to exposure your edible part to the drying area. It's all depend upon that. And another study, that effect of different drying and processing method on the nutritional composition of fish. Here in 2018, the author studied about the studied for the 3 different species for the oven drying, boiling, solar drying, and smoking. So here, what they found is interesting. The oven drying method have the very less quantity of the lipid, and smoking content have the high quantity of the lipid. So it's all it's not that it's oven drying or oven drying reducing the lipid content, smoking, or it's all depend upon how much moisture contents are getting evaporated during this processing, how much time temperature you are using. That is also that is a very much important factor that when we are going for a conclusion. So in this study, what they found is the oven drying method have the very less quantity of fat, and smoking have the high quantity of fat, that is 5.2 percentage. So the fat loss phenomena is more intensive in fish dried in the electric oven drying than the smoking, due to the fat excluded with the moisture evaporations during the oven drying. And in the case of protein, the solar dried fishes have the high quantity of protein among the 3 fishes. It's not only for this, among the 3 fishes. The protein content was high in the solar dried fishes, followed by the oven drying, followed by the oven drying, the high fat content was high in the oven drying method, followed by the solar drying, and then boiling, and then smoking. Then next one is the effect of smoking method on the nutritional composition of fish. Smoking method is some of our Indian states that the smoking is still, we are using it commonly. Smoking is the preservation methods. It provide heat and provide the antimicrobial compound to preserve the fishes, which act as antimicrobial, which aids to aids the fish product to have a good attractive color and flavor compound. And also this smoking also contains some carcinogenic compound which is harmful to the human health. If you see the smoking, there are 2 types of smoking. One is the hot smoking, another one is the cold smoking. During the hot smoking, we are using up to 80 degrees Celsius temperature, and the core inside the product temperature was around 60 degrees Celsius. As in the case of cold smoking method, we are using the temperature of less than 30 degrees Celsius. So when you talk about the nutritional composition of the smoked product, the time, temperature, and type of wood what you are used, it's mainly determine the nutritional content of the smoked fish product. Here also, you can reduce the nutritional loss of the smoked product by brining, because they are saying you can do the brining before smoking, so thereby you can reduce the loss of soluble protein and loss of reduce the protein loss, or you can reduce the protein denaturation. So during the smoking, what happens is, during the smoking, it decreases the availability of lysine, methionine, and tryptophan, and it is all proportional to the time temperature of the smoking process. As I said, the smoking decreases the soluble protein. So in the So in the overall, what we would like to say in this presentation is this: fish is the well-known nutritional aquatic animals. It is already proven that it is having the good percentage of dietary for human consumption. It is having all the biomolecules for the for healthy human. But this consumption of fish helps to prevent the disease like blood pressure, coronary heart disease, cancer, and inflammatory disease, and maintaining health. So all these health benefits are up. It's all up to how you are going to have the fish. But in our Indian condition, we are having the different processing method, whether it is for the human consumption or it is for the export purpose. We have different processing method. So that processing methods affect the chemical and physical and nutritional composition of the fish. So whatever processing method may be, the time temperature processing that is influence the digestibility, means the major component in the fish is the protein and fat. So this time temperature processing influences the protein denaturation and the unsaturated fatty acids. So whoever it may be, whether it is a fisherman or it is a processor or it is a home cooking or whatever it may be, the knowledge about the beneficial or optimal processing condition, it's very much important to have the highly nutritive products for highly nutritive product. At the same time, that product should have the consumer acceptance. That is a final whatever we say the fish is highly nutritive or whatever it may be, the consumer has to accept the product. So we have to have a balanced idea about how to process, how to maintain the nutritional value, and how to at the same time how to satisfy our consumer. So it is necessary to use and adopt the appropriate as well as affordable processing techniques for the processing of fish and fishery products. Thank you. So anything you please, it's open for the discussion. You can, if you have any doubt, you please ask. Any clarification?
Any questions, please ask, ma'am. If you want to interact, please go ahead. Ma'am, there are some questions written in the
Right.
chat. Please take those.
Among the processing, 1 minute. Among all these, which processing method is good to retain the nutritional value? As I said earlier, we can go for any processing method for our means for our Indian condition of cooking methods. You can go for a grilled products or steamed foods, or it can be of any smoked type products. But it's all depend upon your time, temperature, how you're processing and everything. Each method have its own advantage and disadvantage. Okay.
Uh, Anything else?
Actually, in which area you are presently working? Someone asked. Actually, my area of interest is of chitin chitosan for the biomedical and pharmaceutical applications. What is the effect of irradiation and pulse light treatment on protein? Actually, there are different types of radiation. Is there? I'm not sure, but if there is a limit exit, there is a chances of protein denaturation.